On a quiet farm in Lawport, Indiana, the ground hides secrets, layers of burned soil, bone fragments, and unmarked graves. For years, men boarded trains from Chicago, Minneapolis, and beyond, answering the promise of love, wealth, and a new life. But they never returned home. Not a letter, not a telegram, not a trace. And at the center of this vanishing trail stood one woman, Belle Gunness, a towering figure nearly 6 feet tall, known to the papers as Hell's Belle. The night her home went up in flames, investigators expected answers. Instead, they found something far worse. A body with no head, dozens of shallow graves, and a mystery so twisted, so unbelievable, that more than a century later, we still cannot say how many people she killed or whether she ever died at all. This is the Gunness story, and it begins long before the flames. Belle Gunness was born Bryn Hill, Paulsdatter Storseth in 1859, in a small Norwegian village where poverty was not an occasional hardship. It was a constant. As a young woman, she was known for her strength, her ambition, and her temper. She immigrated to America in 1881, joining thousands of Scandinavians seeking stability. But stability wasn't what she wanted. She wanted more, much more. Belle soon married a department store guard, Mad Sorensen. Their life seemed peaceful, but finances were always strained. Then, strangely, their home burned down, insurance paid out. Their store burned next, insurance paid again. Neighbors began whispering. When Mads died on the only day 2 life insurance policies overlapped, Belle told the doctor it was an enlarged heart, but the doctor wasn't convinced. He suggested an autopsy. Belle refused. The doctor filed no report. Belle left Chicago soon after with a sizable payout. But if Chicago thought it had seen the last of her, Lawport, Indiana was about to learn how wrong they were. In Lawport, Belle purchased a farm, 40 acres of quiet isolation. She arrived with her 3 foster children and a striking physical presence. Over 200 pounds, nearly 6 feet tall, and described as commanding. To neighbors, she seemed hardworking, devoted, almost admirable. But behind that calm exterior, a deadly pattern began. Peter Gunness, a widowed butcher, married Belle in 1902. Within a week, his infant daughter died in Belle's care. Soon after, Peter himself died. Belle claimed a sausage grinder fell from a shelf and crushed his skull. The coroner called the explanation impossible. A jury ruled it an unfortunate accident. Once again, Belle walked away with insurance. By 1906, Belle switched strategies. She placed newspaper ads in Scandinavian language papers across the Midwest. Wanted, a gentleman of means. Must be willing to work a good farm. Come prepared to stay permanently. Permanently, she wrote. And she meant it literally. Suitors arrived carrying cash, banknotes, family savings, valuable tools, jewelry. All of it entrusted to Belle. All of it never seen again. The men came one by one. Ola Budberg, Andrew Helgeline, O.B., and countless others whose families never got answers. Some were last spotted heading toward Belle's farm. Others mailed letters saying they had arrived safely. Letters that experts later believed Belle herself wrote. Neighbors reported hearing digging at night. Children noticed strange packages delivered to Belle's shed. And a farmhand claimed Belle asked him to haul dirt into pits near the hog pen. But the truth about those pits would only surface when a frightened man escaped her grasp. Enter Ray Lamphere, Belle's hired help and many believe her lover. He protected her secrets. He worked late nights. He saw things other men didn't survive seeing. But when Belle dismissed him, tensions exploded. She claimed Ray threatened her. She filed complaints. She told neighbors he was unstable. Whether she feared he knew too much or feared losing control is still debated. Ray became the perfect scapegoat for what happened next. In the early morning hours of April 28, 1908, flames consumed the Gunness farmhouse. Neighbors rushed in, trying to break down doors. Every exit was locked from the inside. 4 bodies were found in the basement. 3 children, 1 adult woman headless. Belle's head was never located, but investigators immediately questioned whether the woman was Belle at all. Why? Because the corpse was significantly smaller, at least 70 pounds lighter than Belle's known size. Ray Lamphere was arrested and charged with arson. While Ray faced trial, a hired farmhand confessed. Belle had ordered him to dig numerous soft dirt pits near the hog pen. She called them rubbish holes. Investigators looked closer. What they uncovered shocked America. Shallow grave after shallow grave. Body fragments. Skulls. Dozens of victims, likely more than 40. The newspapers erupted with headlines. Murder factory found in Indiana. A woman serial killer. This was 1908, decades before the term serial killer. And yet Belle fit the profile with chilling accuracy. But the greatest twist of all was the question no one could answer. Was Belle Gunness even dead? Ray Lamphere, while in custody, claimed Belle fled the farm the night before the fire. He said she had hired a woman from Chicago to pose as her corpse. According to him, Belle drugged a woman, killed her, planted the body, collected her valuables, and disappeared forever. Ray died in prison months later, but he left behind a written confession supporting his story. Over the next decades, Belle's sightings emerged across the country: Mississippi, Chicago, San Francisco, Canada. In 1931, a woman accused of poisoning a man in Los Angeles was suspected to be Belle. The resemblance was strong, but no definitive DNA technology existed then. Even today, genealogical investigations continue, but the results remain inconclusive. Some believe she died in the fire. Others believe she slipped into anonymity, continuing her deadly pattern under a new identity. The world may never know. Belle Gunness represents something deeper than a shocking crime story. She forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about trust, how loneliness can lead people into dangered power, how charm can conceal manipulation justice, how systems of the time fail to protect victims' fear, how the unknown can haunt generations' morality, how a community struggles to reconcile evil with everyday life. Her story is not just about murder, it's about vulnerability, human longing, the dream of a better life, exploited by someone who knew exactly how to weaponize it. Today, when we talk about online dating scams, financial fraud, and emotional manipulation, we're reminded that these dangers didn't begin with modern technology. They began with people like Belle Gunness, people who understood that hope could be the easiest way to trap someone. If her story teaches us anything, it is this: evil does not always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like a promise. Thank you for joining this deep investigation into the chilling case of Belle Gunness. If you believe stories like this deserve to be told and honor the victims who never received justice, then help us continue this mission. Subscribe to Mysterious Crime Box. Share this documentary. Amplify the forgotten, because history does not repeat unless we fail to remember it.